Hello everyone, and welcome to the Navhind Times Talk from the Heart. With things getting back to normal and people hiring back again, thank God for that, it is very important to learn what to expect when you go for an interview. Not just learning what to expect, but it's also very important to ace that interview. To help us in that area, we have with us today in our studio Clare Noronha. Hello Clare, welcome to the Navhind Times Talk from the Heart, and thank you. Before we continue, a little bit about Clare. Clare has more than 20 years of experience in HR. She has worked in the management as a management professional from the corporate to hotels to education and to multinational companies. In fact, she has been using her skills to help various people, not just employees but also students. Clare, we are so happy to have you here. If I had missed out something, you need to tell us, what have I missed out? Did I miss out? From your face it looks like I've missed out something. Anything? No. Okay. So Clare, before I have a long list of questions for you, but I was discussing the interview today, and I was speaking to a few youngsters, and I said, you must watch it because you're going to get a lot of tips about how to face an interview. And one of them turned around and said to me, why learn? You just go for the interview and you're going to be fine. How many interviews will you go for? 1, 2, maximum maybe 3. So I don't think you need to really learn anything about it. And I turned to him and I said, I'm sorry, but that's not how it is. I believe that, it's so important, Clare, that when you go for an interview, you need to know what are you going there for, what to expect. You need to know how to speak. Am I right? I mean, do you agree with me or not?
Sure, Maria. First of all, thank you for having me on the show. And yes, if you are somebody who's starting out your career, interviews is something very important. Because if you don't prepare yourself, like you said, what to expect, why am I going for the interview, then of course there's no way you're going to ace it, because you're not clear in your head what exactly you're going for. And in all the guest lectures, all my interaction with students and youngsters, those starting out their careers, I will take you back a bit. If you're speaking to a person of experience, say 5 years, 10 years of experience, then they are a little more aware of what to expect, because they're currently working. If you're looking at a senior level person, then they are more on the, macro level, not micro level. So they will know implementation, not so much, but they will know more planning, more, how to do something. Why do we need to do something? So the branding, the management part of it. But if you're talking down below, a fresher, a student who's starting out or planning to start out, learning all about interviews is important, because you're going out into the real world. You're no longer a student. So if I am a student passing out, do I have the skills? Am I employable? What are my employability chances? That's where it all starts.
So you asked a question which is very pertinent, and you said, am I employable?
Right.
Now, will the person, an individual, get this answer by going for an interview, or is there any homework that the person has to do? This is me and this is what I want. So is there something that the person will have to do before that?
Most definitely, you need to be prepared. You need to know what you need to do. And most of the times when you talk to youngsters, the first question that most of them are unable to answer is, where do you see yourself maybe 1 year from now? So do they have a goal? Do they have a dream? That is the first part. But they are now going for campus interviews. They are now going and sending out their resumes. Again, confusion there. What type of resume? So they will go online. Nowadays, you and I know technology has advanced so much. Everything's available online.
But that is not always correct, isn't it?
Right. So choosing, selecting the one to suit you as a person first, and then the type of job you apply for is important.
So how do we do that?
Ideally, you need to first understand yourself. So you need to know where you want to, or if you're a student starting out, you don't know. You're just a student. So you may have skills.
So is that career counseling? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So ideally, some sort of career counseling in colleges, schools or educational institutions will give the student a chance to know where they are, where they can shine. Now, not always is that possible, because what you learn in school, college, university may not be what is in the industry. Industry is changing
All the time?
We all know what we went through the pandemic.
Yes.
How technology changed, how work cultures changed, how employability and employable people had to suffer.
They become redundant, so many of them, in fact.
So given all these experiences that all of us have gone through, especially youngsters, one needs to understand, what do I need to do to improve myself in order to be employable? And for that, you need to go back to your roots.
When you say that, what exactly do you mean?
To the basics. So, can I speak? Now, when you say speak, I may be able to speak, but am I using the right words in the right context? I still remember when I was starting out as a student, one of the teachers said to me, the words you use when you speak can either have a positive meaning or a negative meaning. So you have to be very careful. And of course, that through experience, if you are serious about wanting to improve yourself, you will master. Second thing is how you write. We all know youngsters today, when they send you a WhatsApp message, their messages have all got short.
SMS.
Believe me, sometimes it takes me a while to understand what exactly is the person trying to say. Yeah, you and I might find ourselves using short forms like and will be N, coming will be CMG. But when you are doing it for the first time and communicating with your prospective person, whether it is in HR or whether it is a salesperson or whoever, but you are communicating with your prospective employer, you need to be careful.
Very careful.
What you write, how you write, what you say, how you say is important. So, am I good at that? Third thing is you need to be tech savvy. Now, when I say tech savvy, at least the basics. How do you write a letter? How do you format a letter? And that starts with your resume. Because when you look at a document and it's not appealing to the eye, whoever is planning to take you will say, okay, now this is the first NO, because it's too confusing. I can't, it's all jagged and there's no,
no alignment.
No alignment.
I've seen so many, that
So,
have that problem.
This is another thing I have learned. So I hold my experience, or rather I hold whatever I have learned very dear to me, because all that is experiential learning. And one is never old to learn.
In fact, Claire, our last talk from the heart, we had someone who came and spoke about public speaking and oral communication. And we at Navhind Times, Goa 365, we are always advocating these soft skills, because we believe especially students require these skills: written communication, oral communication, public speaking, and today interview facing skills. And I would like to say to all those who are in the seats of power, if you're listening, I think this is another subject, another topic that we need to teach our students, especially college students, that how do you face an interview. And students, because they are doing internship, they are going for interviews just to get that internship. And there are sometimes students who come back, smart students, intelligent students, but when they come back, they say, oh, we didn't get through, somebody else got through. And I keep wondering, because I interact with a lot of students and I think why. So all those who are listening, please understand the importance of written communication, oral communication, and of course interview facing skills. In fact, we at Navhind Times also keep having, I think we didn't have it last year though because of the pandemic, but we have career fairs. So students can go out there, meet the different employers, find out what are the fields today, because like you said, every day there is a different new field, there is a different prospect that comes up that students can tap into. So it is so important, and we are so happy to say that we have been promoting and advocating these subjects. So Claire, getting back to you, you said you need to get back to the roots,
basics.
You need to get back to the basics. So besides going to a counselor and finding out what am I good at, can someone who maybe can't afford it sit at home and find out how he or she is good at a certain subject, certain field? What can they do? How can they find out?
Look at it this way, in any class of third years or SSC students wanting to do vocational courses, bachelor's in vocational courses, which is again springing up everywhere. Mostly those students are very hardworking, they're very sincere.
Very.
Right?
I agree with you.
So in all my experiences that I have had as heading the HR, as an HOD in HR, basically conducting maybe a third round of interviews, I've noticed that an average student is more prone to learn. And then I started questioning why. Why is that a degree holder is not so vocal or interested, or doesn't show so much of interest in wanting to learn as an average student? So I would give a chance to a degree holder and an average student and see which one, and with no hard feelings to any graduate out there. But sometimes we do get a little overconfident, and that can hurt you in the long run, because average students, they strive.
You mean the vocational? Are you talking about the
all streams? Okay. What I've realized today is that you need not go for a graduate BA, BCom, BSc. Now there are other fields coming up. The government has also introduced those other, skill development programs.
Right.
Postgraduate diplomas in, or bachelors in vocational education. So using those, or using that as a platform, students, because of their background, economic background, who are not able to afford fees, right, they can take up these courses, and most often they shine. Now some of them actually go ahead and pursue a degree or a postgraduate degree or a master's or a PhD, but it's their starting that is important. You spoke about internships. In my entire career as heading HR, I've experienced interns and interns and interns.
I can imagine.
Now, the first thing is, when a student goes out for internship, are they prepared?
What do you mean prepared?
Do they know what they're getting themselves into?
Not really.
Exactly. So when the first drawback or the first hurdle that any student faces when they go for internship is at the security gate. So it is a two-way. It takes two to make or to have a success.
What can you explain? What is
You
the
are a
security?
student.
You're saying at the security
You are a
gate.
student, I'm the employer. Let's look at it that way, right? You are approaching my organization
Right.
for internship.
Huh.
So you carry a letter with you. The first person you meet is the security man.
Yes.
Now, is the security aware that there are internships happening, and students are supposed to be led this way, guided? Sometimes due to busy schedules, unexpected emergencies that come up, securities are not aware. So then they're treated like any other person. Now, it could be again a two-way street. If the student is really interested, they will make an effort to contact and get in through the first hurdle. Then comes your second hurdle. Who are they supposed to meet? So the journey of a fresh person coming out from an educational setting into a work setting undergoes all these changes. It comes, for most students who I've met, it comes as a shock. Ma'am, we didn't expect this, you know, and I'm like, really? What did you expect? You know? Now there are organizations who look at you as an intern. When I say you, I'm saying the student.
I understand.
Right? Oh, you come to do your internship? Just take this and get this Xeroxed. You know, it's
You
amazing.
become like an errand boy or girl,
Yes.
which
So
is very demeaning for the students.
Again, I am saying it takes two hands to clap. So I'm not saying that the employers or the companies are at fault. I'm not saying that the students are at fault. But you can see lacunas everywhere. Now, as HR people, what can we do to help that fresher, to help that student who is looking at this company as, oh my goodness gracious me, is this what industry holds for us?
And is this what I am getting into?
I don't want to work.
No, I know.
You know, so now it has been there and it's starting gradually, wherein industry and institution, so academia, industry mix, wherein industries are expressing what exactly they are looking for, type of, you know, youngsters, and then the educational institutions try to mold the students
And teach them and train them. I think that's
so
very
that
crucial.
is happening
Slowly and steadily.
slowly and steady. It will
Yes.
get there,
It will.
right? How ready are you to accept it? How ready are you to embark on that journey?
But like you said, you know, it's a gradual process. You cannot only expect the student, a final year student, to take it right away and say, yeah, this is what it is. I think from the first year itself, students need to be trained. It has to be gradual. It's not right to you know, plop something on them and throw it on them and say, this is it, this is how you have to accept it. I think 3 years is a time from the first year to the third year, it gives students the time to come to terms with it, to understand that this is what the industry is what it is going to be, and the internship
What it
helps,
can
and
be.
what it can be, and how I can fit in there. Am I right or am I
Yes,
wrong? Please
yes.
correct me if I'm
No,
wrong.
you're absolutely right, because I have seen organizations do that and I've seen institutions do that. I have seen degree institutes actually coordinating with the industry, because I'm talking from my personal
Yes.
experiences, right? So I've seen them actually call me up and ask me, how is so and so doing? We need this form filled up. We are coming to talk to you. And vice versa, I would call them and say, you know, your students are doing great. So that kind of feedback, that loop, that constant interaction helps not only an organization that's taking on interns, but it also helps the student know where he or she can improve on.
And you know, getting back to interns, because I believe, like, if you do internship, it really helps in your interviews. This is my personal opinion, and since I interact so much with so many students, I think, you know, this is also what I have got. The more the students do their internships and intern, they become better. They get a better and clearer idea of what the industry is all about. But Claire, I have noticed, maybe I'm wrong, that there are only a few streams that promote internships. Not all streams promote internship. They are like, you know, they're more focused on academics rather than the internship. When I believe, again, if I'm wrong, do forgive me and correct me, that there has to be a judicious mix of the two: academics, internship, and of course the extracurricular activities. What would you say about that?
You're absolutely right, Maria. Because in today's day and age, and the future age that's coming, you need to have a blend of both. You need to be good academically, but you also need to be good when you're talking about blending it, because what you learn may not always be what is. So how can I adapt? What do I need to do to adapt? Now, I'm just going back to what you said earlier about internships. Internships also give students a chance to understand what to expect, yes. And should they go for an interview, how they should answer, how they can answer, what are the things to look for, because now they have some idea, okay, I've been in a manufacturing and this is what happens. Because normally an intern is placed in various sections.
Yes, true.
So you get a basic idea or an overview of how or what happens in each department. So you start getting an idea of which department did I enjoy myself? Why did I enjoy myself? What did I learn? What did I not like? And that starts your thinking as to what do I graduate in? Right? So that could be your first
your
step.
Speciality.
Yes.
What do I specialize in?
Okay, I like this. Many times students don't realize that their liking is not that. Their liking is something else.
What do you mean by that? Can you explain?
You have a flair, I'm just giving you as an example. You have a flair for convincing people. Example.
Are you honest, or are you just saying it for the camera?
Well, so, maybe you have that flair of convincing someone. So there are ample of jobs to think about. What line can I go for? Okay, I find myself good in this, but you don't realize it earlier. And it's not told to you, or you are not made aware of it.
It's only when I go into the industry,
yes,
and people give feedback. That's the time
you come
I understand, okay, this is what I'm good at and this is what I can do. Or I can be even better at it with the right training.
Right.
Okay.
And normally for a student starting out, or normally for a person with 1 or 2 years of experience, it's where you have been. Like, for example, if you are a fresher coming out and your first, social kind of environment is your college, and then you participate in national level events if you are one of those, or you participate in camps where you get a chance to interact with students of different colleges
and network and youngsters today are very good.
That is one more very important point, networking.
Yes.
When you say networking, I'm not talking about hi, how are you?
Yes, I know.
It's about networking and not also using a person, because that's another thing I've seen. A student, I want an answer from Maria means I want it now. You are a student. It's your need. You need to be polite.
And patient.
Patient, and ask, when can I call you? I need to talk to you. I would like to talk to you or seek your help or your advice.
Right.
Now, I have been counseling, guiding, teaching, mentoring many students. And it's heartening to see students of, years ago, students who had come to me for internship, finished the internship, grown, working elsewhere, and suddenly out of the blue, hi ma'am, do you remember me? And I'm like, I'm really sorry. But I can remember a name, but I'm trying to fit a face to that.
It becomes difficult.
And they say, no, you said X, Y, Z. Do you remember, ma'am? And I'm like, I'm glad you remember that. I'm sorry, I have forgotten, but if it has helped you, I feel good about it.
Right.
So at the end of the day, if you have a person who's passionate about wanting to, help anyone else master themselves, I'm happy.
So then it becomes three P's. You said passion, patience, and one more P. I was just thinking, what is polite? You need to be polite.
Right.
So see, we have come up with 3 different P's for you for the interview facing skills. That you have to have your passion. You have to be very patient, of course, and polite. Courtesy always works. I believe it does.
Yes, but unfortunately in today's age, if you see, it's absent. Not many people are that courteous. Now, we all hear about work-life balance. So if you're a student, you are going for your interview. Interviewers have various types of questions that they ask you. Nowadays, of course, the entire scheme of things is changing. You first have a Skype interview or a Zoom interview. Oh, you can fake a lot in that. And I don't know, maybe it's my old-fashioned way of thinking or what, but for me, if I'm wanting to interview somebody, I can start out with a Zoom call, but I would like a personal interaction.
One-to-one, yes.
That's me.
Right.
Because we always used to laugh in all my offices that, that I've been with. You're sitting there, you have a PC in front of you. I want to communicate with Maria. I sent her an email. Hello? Maria's just there. Just get up, look over your... So that's what I'm talking about. It's your personal contact which is kind of diminishing today.
Yes. In fact, I was laughing because just recently I saw this, excuse me, I saw this, viral video where everybody is sitting around and people are not communicating. The family, they're all on their phones. And it's the grandmother's birthday and she says, I want a present. And they ask her, what do you want? She says, everyone puts your phone off for today, just for today. And that's so important to have that personal contact with people. And even interviews. In fact, that's my next question to you. How would you say that interviews have changed today? How do you think they have changed?
Today, considering the pandemic, more and more people are using visuals, like
Zoom and
Google
Skype
Meets
and stuff.
So that's the start. Now sometimes if you're doing it internationally, they start out that way. So it requires a lot of effort. Now there are a lot of videos that go around, as jokes, where you're dressed from here upwards, down it doesn't matter what you wear. You have to make that impression. Now, when you're answering, if you have a very sharp person on the other side, they can see through you.
What do you mean they can see through? You can only see this much up and you can't see anything below.
It's how you come across on camera as well. And if you have done this, again, it's all through experiences. Some people may have the skill, some people may not. And I'm talking from my experience because when I used to conduct interviews for employees, because I was instrumental in building up an organization, adding on.
Right.
So I have done interviews from the lower level right up to the top level.
Right.
So and of course I used to go with my colleagues who MDs and CEOs and stuff. And I never used to speak first. I used to only observe.
And in fact, Clare, sorry to interrupt, but they have said that the person who doesn't talk at all in an interview, on the interviewing panel, that is the person you have to be most careful about because they are scrutinizing you up and down and sideways and always possible. So you need to be really careful about your body language, isn't that so?
Body language is very important. How you speak is very important. Your gestures you use. Unfortunately, I'm a very expressive person, so I tend to use my hands a lot. And for me, I feel that is me. So I'm not going to change that. Yeah, I may tone it down a bit, but I am an expressive person. So when I'm observing a prospective employee, I will look, of course, depending on what position we are interviewing for. Now, if you're looking for an executive level, for example, I would look at, is this person a fit? Number one. How much has he really done from his CV?
And how do you come to know that? Besides are you looking at education? Are you looking at extracurricular activities? What exactly is it that you would be looking at?
Position.
What do you mean position?
Every organization, when they are starting out, right? When I say starting out is when does an interview come up? The need for an interview is when you require a particular position or a particular task to be completed. Now for that you need to have a proper job description done. You need to know the type of person you want. You need to know the type of job the person will do. The type of job the person will do, what are the skills the person.
He or she requires.
Based on that, when you receive a CV and you're looking at it, I never look at the first part, which talks about your address. Maybe now, because of the pandemic, you need to know who's close
by.
Right?
Absolutely.
But if you say in general, right, you look at the education, yes, but don't put too much of importance there. It's the type of job you've done, and what are the tasks, you know, the profile you had. Brief, that's fine, but that gives me an idea. And I look 1, 2 max, and that gives me an idea. Okay, the duration here is X, the duration here is Y, and one needs to be open-minded enough to be truthful. So I would expect the person I'm speaking to
be honest.
Because the CVs I look at, most of the CVs that I've seen today, honestly, they're cut, copy, paste. They take from the CV, oh, my friends X, Y, and Z.
I liked his.
I'm going to take that. So the he
yes.
becomes she and the she becomes he. That's the first flaw. Second flaw is, I am very confident, and yet when you speak,
you cannot speak.
I mean, you can,
but not confidently.
It doesn't come out as confident. And one thing I've told all students, everyone I've been helping, is when you speak, if you are not confident, if you don't feel what you say is right, it doesn't come out when you speak. So when I say when you speak, there is a synonym that I used to use, yo. You know, so communicate with your eyes, eye contact. A, how are you accepting, or how are you getting accepted? And R, what do I need to repeat?
So can you repeat what you just said? Eye contact.
When you're answering an interview, if there is 1-to-1, it's okay, it's easy because my focus is there.
But if it's a panel interview.
But if it's a panel, as a person facing a panel, you need to have eye contact with
everyone at some point of time.
Now, another thing is, when you are expected, when there's a table in front of you, yes, you sit, but how you sit is also important.
Right.
You can actually see a timid, scared person, and as HR, my first thing would do, relax, there's a glass of water, just relax, be yourself, depending on who, what, you know,
right,
and who's with me.
And then answer.
Because as a student, you are scared.
Of course.
You don't know what to expect. Another very important thing that any student or any prospective candidate must try and remember is do your research. If I want to join Navhind Times, example,
I think we are ready to take you. It's okay. If my boss is watching, I hope she'll say, yes, Maria, let's take her. But yes.
You need to be aware, number one, what is Navhind Times? What type of industry is it? What all does Navhind Times do?
What are the objectives, goals?
Look at it this way. You've seen an umbrella, right?
Right.
What happens when you open the umbrella? Navhind Times is the main one. It's your handle. And there are lots of... So, is Navhind Times something like that?
Is it an umbrella term for other companies?
Other companies under one, you know?
Yes.
Okay. Which of these are there? Now, I need to only have an overview. I may not get basics. Okay. Then, what is the turnover? You don't know, you can ask the question. That's one more thing prospective candidates don't do. They don't ask questions. Relevant ones.
But excuse me, if I'm a student and you're telling me do research, I will tell you, why should I do research for all of Navhind Times'
at least get 2 or 3?
But I'm coming as a receptionist maybe. So why do I need to know that? I mean, this is a question I know students may ask. Guys, if you're listening and you think I'm being mean, I'm not. I'm just being very factual, because that's a question that would, if I were a student, believe it or not, I'm being very honest. She's told me to be honest. I'm being honest. If I were a student, that's my first question to you. What research? I'm going for a particular job. Let me research that job. Why the whole thing? Navhind Times is an umbrella for many other companies maybe, but I'm not interested in those companies. What I'm interested in is a particular job, and that's what I'm going to really learn and study and go. So when they ask me questions, I'll answer like this. So why should I research the entire company? Why?
Because you need to know what all the company does. You need to know what is the goal of the main company, the parent company. And then where do I see myself, or where can I fit myself in that goal? At which level? So if you're a student, let's not look at Navhind Times, because it's a huge
Yes.
company, right? I mean, you have a lot
Yes,
of
we
other-
have our different other things. we
Let's
do.
look at a small company. One, what is their business? Two, who are their target audience? The position being applied for, right? Where does it fit in? What is the mission, vision? And that's all available today online,
Yes, luckily.
right? So once you know the mission, the vision, the goal, you at least have an idea what type of organization it is. Then, who all are there? Who heads this company? You're a student. You can call and ask.
Oh,
I'm a teen. You
they
can
are
even
very-
walk into the.
They are very creative. Our children, our students are very
Absolutely.
creative.
So use that creativity, but basically,
To find
when you're
out.
talking at an interview, if the prospective employer sees that you have done your homework, you have found out quite a
That's
bit,
impressive.
it helps. Because then, if I were interviewing you, I would say, okay, this one wants to learn, she's got potential. Because I remember interviewing a girl earlier on in my career for quality control, and she was so shy, timid, scared. I don't know why. Honestly tell you, I don't know why, but I just said, after she answered the interview, I told my colleague, I said, let's give her a chance and see, let's take her on.
Why? What was it that attracted you?
Something
to
about
that?
her eyes. She had smart eyes, very bright. And unfortunately, I'm a person who looks at, eyes and your whole. I can tell immediately whether I'm receptive or not. It's a skill I have mastered over the years, and I'm thankful for it, because I know when to zip it, But yes, you give a person like that a chance, and believe me, Maria, that girl Sean, she became more vocal, she improved tremendously, and she went on to work for a good 5 years before, of course, she got married and then had to leave.
So we are coming back again to how important it is to have the soft skills that are required.
And I think for quite some time now, you take a qualification like chartered accountancy, and now they had added communication skills as a part of, if I'm not mistaken, it was there some years ago.
I think it's extremely important.
It is.
It is, yes.
But more so than that, I know the pressures on teachers and lecturers and institutions is so vast that personal contacts with each and every student is not possible. So in a situation like that, what can be done is something that we need to address. Because if youngsters are not coached, guided, helped during their formative years, as they are coming out,
it becomes difficult later.
Like you said, start from first year.
I know.
If they have that grounding, then it will help them in the third year.
Please listen, everyone who's listening.
We are getting there, Maria. We are getting there. It may be slower, but
I too am very passionate that our children are so creative. Some of them are extremely intelligent. There are times when students say things to me, and I'm like, my mouth, my jaw drops, and I'm amazed at how smart they are. They are on the take. They know exactly what to do. But it's only when they come in front of people, or they have to go on stage, and they are like, they freeze. They actually freeze. They just stare at you. I'm like, what happened? Ma'am, can't talk. So it's so sad, because I know some of them are extremely smart. So, getting back to our interviews, What is, according to you, the most defining question that a prospective employer asks a prospective employee? What is that one question you feel that, this is where it's a give or take?
No,
it's
you can't
a process.
It's a process. It's how, from the start to finish, because then you tend to see how the prospective employee answers. So if you find the person going round and round, like if you ask a question, like, did you undertake any projects, or were you a part of a team, or did you do something individually? You have to be very careful in listening to what the prospective employee says. And most of the time, the person may not answer your question properly, but will take you round and round. So as an employer, you need to be very aware if this is a fast talker, a smooth operator, or whether he genuinely knows his stuff. So the one question you can ask is how. Could you explain how you did that, or how you accomplished it? And then you will know.
Right. So those who are watching, this is one tip, besides the many tips, but this is an extremely important tip that I think you need to jot down, that you need to back whatever you are proclaiming. You may be right, but do you have, in fact, a story to back you? Because that's what they're looking at. The people who are on that panel, or the interviewer is looking, are you able to back what you're saying? Or are you just saying, because that's what most people do. They say, I can do this and I can do that and I can do that. And speaking with Clare earlier, she said to me, there are many people who say they can do this and they can do that, but when it really comes down to it, to the nitty-gritty part of it, and today, if I'm not mistaken, they also give you scenarios and they ask you to enact it. So you need to make sure you can back whatever you're saying with either a fact or a story. You need to have that. Am I right?
If you have actually done what you say you did, it's not difficult. It's very easy.
Then it's easy, of course.
Because then you can, for me, I'm talking for myself, I could tell whether you genuinely did it or not.
So it comes back again to honesty.
Yeah.
Be extremely honest on your resume.
It comes out. That's why I say, it's if you have done it, if you're confident of yourself and what you can do or how you can do it, it comes out.
Right. And then there are students, who write a lot of things and they think it's okay. I want to make my resume look very impressive. I want to make it look attractive. It has to be, like someone said to me once, it has to be tagda, ma'am. And I'm like, okay, but can you answer certain questions? And then it was, no, but let it be now. Let it be like that. But children don't realize that. Don't just put in stories there. If they're not facts, you will get caught somewhere. Am I right, Clare?
Yes, absolutely. Because if you say that your profile is A, B, C, D, did you really do it? How did you do it? Can you give us one or two examples? So it's quick thinking, flexibility, everything is involved. I'm not saying a fresher, not all will be able to ace their first interview. But believe me, job fairs, campus interviews, your first interview gives you an idea of what to expect.
And internships. And internships.
But when you're in a room like this, for example, and you have a table, and you have a person sitting, you do tend to get nervous. You do. And for a fresher, it is. Now you get some people who are very confident, more overconfident. So they are, it's obvious when you brag. When you go on about, I. Stop. What is it that you're looking for, ma'am? I feel I'm a fit here. Another thing candidates can ask as well is questions. What would my profile be?
Most people don't ask.
Who would I be reporting to?
But Clare,
unfortunately, the first question you ask is, what are the timings? Or what is the salary?
That's a big no.
Those two are a big no first. Your first thing is, what exactly does this role entail? Yes, ma'am, your advertisement said 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there anything more to that? What is expected of this position? What kind of a role? Next, who am I reporting to? How will my progress be? Even if you're a student. Because the first thing you'll want to know is, am I going to learn?
What is my salary?
No, the salary don't talk of.
I know, I'm saying most people would ask, what is my...
That's what I said. What is my salary and what are the timings?
How many days leave? That's another question that someone said, that they're going to ask, how many days leave will I get? But
so when I help students who call me and say, ma'am, I've got an interview at this or that company, my first thing is, are you prepared for it? Right? What do you know about the company? Do you know anybody? Yes. Do you know anybody in the company? Now, if they ask you, feel free to ask any questions. If they don't say that, as a smart student or as a student, you have to master that courage, which you can get if you practice looking at a mirror. Say, excuse me, sir, or excuse me, ma'am, may I ask a question?
Please.
You know.
I think you need to keep those questions ready, right?
Yes. And then this is the first thing, because what am I supposed to do? What is my role?
So basically, first one is, what is my role going to be? What is my position?
What is your expectations of this position?
Right.
Like, you know, what am I supposed to do and who am I responsible to, or who am I reporting to? Very important question.
These are two questions everyone who's listening.
The salary, whatever you are paid, will come to you. You do your best.
And that I think comes in the second or the third one, if there is a second or third round, the salary negotiation.
Yes. Sometimes it does
happen in one.
It gets touched on in the first one, just to see what you say. Again, you need to find that out as well. When you do your research, you can check that out as well. How much are interns or how much are freshers or trainees getting in the industry?
Right. Well, my next question to you is, what is the one thing in a resume that should be a no-no? That you say, with your years of experience, I mean, what is that one thing you would tell everyone who's watching, that never put this on your resume, because this is very ugly, it's very unprofessional? What is that one thing?
I couldn't think of anything in particular, if you ask me frankly. Because what I would look for, I would not look for what not to put. I would just tell you what you
can put. Better than my question. There you go. Yes.
Because if you speak the truth, if you write the truth, as you know, everyone is on international standing operating systems, which is ISO. Say what you, write what you say and do what you write. Right? So if you actually wrote truth, even if it's in 2 or 3 lines, even if you've held a project, what exactly was your role in that project and what did you contribute to, that's what I look for. So I would not say what not to, but focus on what to put in. Put in facts, be honest, you know.
And internships and some experience somewhere carries a lot of weight.
Of course.
Carries a lot of weight.
A lot.
That you're saying. Could you repeat the year that you said about? First is eye contact, second is the answer. Am I right?
Yes.
Answer correctly.
Acceptance.
Acceptance, okay. So
acceptance, aptitude, attitude, all those come in
under A.
Eye contact and empathy is the first one.
Is the first one. Okay.
I need to keep you in eye contact.
So empathy, eye contact is first. The second one is answer right, have the right attitude.
Acceptance.
And acceptance. And the R is repeat or respond.
Respond, repeat, respect. I'm just giving you
yes.
the basics is.
This is a Clare Noronha formula.
No, it's not mine. It's not mine.
But this is something that we can all utilize. Not just you who are watching, but even if I ever go for another interview, I will remember this, Clare. But I think that's a very, very useful trick and tip that I'm sure all of us can use. We barely have like 5 minutes. Time has really flown. Grooming. Now, this is one thing. Sometimes you find students, not just students, let's talk about everyone. Either they undergroom or they overgroom. So how do you decide what is the right standard, grooming standard? How can I decide what I should be wearing and what I should not be wearing?
Right. Here, Maria, you have to look at the organization you're going to. Now, if you're going for the first time, be formal. And when I say formal, no need to go in a suit.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to understand.
But you can wear a jacket if you want to, like most management institutions do. They have a shirt, a jacket, and either a skirt or trousers. So if your first interview, basically my suggestion is simple, elegant, smart. Follow these three and you're there. Your hairstyles, be simple. You don't need to, put so much of makeup. You don't need to, you're not selling your appearance. You're selling yourself, or rather, you are trying to convince employers, prospective employers, please take me, So it is not what you wear. Go sober, because you find people wearing, jagged stuff, and then when you are talking to them, there's a lot of, don't do that. Don't do that. Be simple. Simple, elegant, and smart. That's it.
But suppose, I'm just giving you a scenario. I am going for a junior accountant's position.
Right.
I am a male. Do I need to wear a blazer then? It's junior accountant.
Not necessarily, but wear a smart shirt. No t-shirts.
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
And ideally, please wear shoes. Jeans, some companies accept if they are dark colored smart jeans, then they look as formal, so it's okay. But many organizations are not in favor of jeans. So those jean lovers, you have to be careful. But footwear is very important. Your hands, your nails, your hair. Important.
Right. And there's this one question someone once asked me, is it okay if I wear black trousers and black shoes? Is it okay if I wear white socks? Because I couldn't find anything. So are white socks allowed? Because
I really don't want to comment on that, because it's each person's, it's how you wear it and the type of interview you're going for, honestly. Because as I said, now if the person had to say red socks, I would say, excuse me?
Yes.
White is, I guess, if you're wearing a white shirt, I guess it's okay, you don't need to wear black. Again,
depends on
the job you're going for. Because some companies do have color codes. Research comes in useful.
Again, research. We're getting back again and again.
Knowing more about the company you're going to answer an interview in.
Right. So basically, let us end here. I just have barely 2 minutes. We have spoken a lot. Clare has given us so many tips. And the first thing, just to put it in a nutshell, I'm paraphrasing everything she said. I hope I've not missed out. If I have missed out, do correct me. So the first thing is research. You need to research the company. And sorry, before that she says, you need to do a self-analysis, what exactly it is you want to do. What is the field, which field is it that you are good at, and you think this is what I want to do. Once you know that, then comes the application process and applying. Your resume says a lot about you. Clare says you don't have to have a fancy resume, right? What is important is your experience, the tasks that you have done. If you have interned, what exactly did you do? Don't lie, because you are going to get caught somewhere. Be very honest. Simple language is what they're looking for. They don't normally have the time to go through long resumes and turn pages and turn pages. Your grooming is important, and so is your body language. And please practice some of the frequently asked questions. Today online there are so many. They give you an entire spiel of it all, and they say these are the regular questions, normal questions, the common questions that people ask you. So you need to practice that. And again, when you're sitting, be careful. When you're grooming, be careful. And when you're answering, your eye contact, the year that she said, EAR, going back again to it, it's eye contact, it's empathy. The A stands for the attitude, acceptance. Yes, this is what it is. And R is to be respectful, to respond.
Correctly.
Am I right?
Yes. How you respond? So, do I respond this way or do I change?
And the more interviews you go for, the more interviews you watch online, the more you ask questions, the more research you do, the better you get. We have tried to help you by giving you tips. How you take it further is all up to you. It's all your experience. And actually, I feel so happy that I could actually remember everything. Yay! I remembered everything. Did I miss out anything?
No.
Are you sure? Don't be sweet to me and polite to me, Claire.
No, I
be very honest and tell me, is there anything I've forgotten?
No.
Yes?
You covered it all.
I think I've covered it all. So we are going to say bye right now, and before we say bye, on behalf of you guys and behalf of Navhind Times and Goa 365, thank you so much, Claire.
Thank you for having me.
You know, so many questions were there. I wish you'd come back again, because there are many other questions that I'm sure that we would love to ask you, and with your experience there's no one better I can think of. So again, thank you so much, and hope to see you again soon. And to all of you, we are mostly meeting next Sunday, so till then, take care of yourself, and thank you so much for joining us. Please give us your feedback. It's very important. Your feedback is very important to us. I'm being honest. It is, because we read through all the feedback you give us, and we even take your suggestions up. So yes, do let us know, and bye-bye. Thank you so much again. God bless.